Hey guys, welcome back to the group view. How's everybody doing today? It's Alejandro.
What's up? It's Carlos.
We're back, Julian.
What's going on? We got Matt in the back.
Yeah.
Yep, always.
There we go. Hope
Behind the
everybody's
scenes,
having
making everything happen.
Hope everybody had a good week and is having a good week. So we're picking up back where we left off last time in terms of capitalism, whether we feel like it's a good thing or not. In addition to that, though, we mainly want to touch base on how we could allocate budget more and try to help people that are, in need of it. Poor people, destitute, however you want to put it. So obviously one of the biggest things is the fact that, at least how I feel, is the fact that a lot of money right now is being spent on military funding. And if you cut some of that funding, let's say by like 200, 300 billion, you have now that whole budget to put towards either educational costs or healthcare. And obviously that's something that every human being needs, especially nowadays where you almost need a degree to get into any entry-level job. So, I mean, that's something I was thinking about to allocate the money towards. And then also, just setting up something where it's kind of like a merit-based type of thing. Let's say, like, in terms of schooling. So let's say, like, kids that are in poor areas where they need money to go to college. If you have the money, obviously set up like a trust fund or something for people that meet certain grade criteria. And then they also have to meet the criteria. That means that their household income makes less than a certain amount. This way, the people that really need it are the ones that are getting it. Not like anybody can apply because, there are intelligent, rich kids that sometimes do take scholarships that should go to people who really need it.
That's a good point.
There's a couple good points, and let's try and break down one of them first. The military spending, that's I feel like that's a tricky one. And it's because you're smirking, I know, but it's because the scary thing is we do need a military.
We do.
In today's world, it's creepy because military is still a way of showing power. So it's how do you take money from something that keeps us who we are,
like in the
number
one spot.
Number one spot, safe, democracy. How do you take money away from that? That's created this great country, and then put it into other things that could make us even better.
Well, we're not saying like dismantle the whole thing and just like cut military funding completely.
You almost kind of have to, right?
But you're cutting it to a certain. He said he mentioned what 200, 300 billion.
300 billion. I forgot.
And I think with this new package or something that they're spending, it's like 1.5 trillion.
Yeah, 1.2.
Right. So if you take out, that's still you're still gonna do a lot of damage with that. Take out 300 million towards it. That's what I'm saying.
I forgot what year. It was when I was still in school, though. I think. And it was like, I think 2017 or 2016. But even if we cut our military spending, at least in that time, I'm sure it probably changed. But if we cut it in half at that point, we would still be spending more money than any other country combined. Right. So it's like, that's insane.
Now, do we do that for a reason? For a specific reason?
Yeah, to allocate that money.
Think that they
To stay in power.
Yeah, I mean, like you said.
Right. But
I think we're doing it kind of like in a way to show off. But we already have like a powerful military.
Well, how else do you keep like communist countries like Russia
with what we have?
Now
you start getting into Now you start getting into a different thing, which is greed. Are we being greedy in that aspect?
I mean, we have countries like North Korea who are...
and we can't handle There's a lot of scary countries out there, but I'm saying, like,
we can't handle it.
I'm talking about cutting the military funding to the point where we're still spending more than other countries, which means...
a lot more.
Which means we are still going to be on top.
Right.
But we're going to be now allocating a big chunk of that to fields that need it. I mean,
right.
And again, the main reason to bring this up is not to shoot down the military and not to blame anything else. It's just to talk about capitalism because, again, having a great military is what, like you said, brought us to power and is what's leading this country to boom, basically. I mean, that's how America really came into power because through the world wars, we made insane profit. And so that led us to become...
Well, let's clarify who's making this profit.
The government, the U.S. government.
and people who are funding
Right.
the military weapons and things
Right,
like
yeah.
that.
Well,
of
yeah,
course.
those companies that are
Right.
actually building all these
And
weapons.
based basically on the idea of capitalism. So that's how it came into power. So now we're talking about, obviously, capitalism is good, but as we left off last week with the topic, is there some hindrance due to too much capitalism? And in this case, I think there is, because if you're spending so much more on military just to maintain that status quo of being the number one power and overlooking other areas that we need, such as education and healthcare, I think that's
Mental
where-
health.
yeah, that's where you're moving away from helping the whole country and just solely focused on profit, greed, like my brother said.
Right.
So the way that I see it is, right, I agree with you that we should cut some of the spending, but then we got to look at the overall, like, where to put this money towards. Do I think like education, healthcare, all that needs it? It does, but there are other things that also need it. So our vets, people that like fought in the war and everything, the system basically gives them this whole dream of you're gonna go, you're gonna fight, you're gonna come back,
And you're set.
and then you're set.
Right.
And they're not.
No, they're not.
A lot
100%.
of them suffer their whole lives.
A lot of them. I don't want to throw numbers and stuff. A lot of them are actually homeless.
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah,
No, they
they're
are.
suffering with
yeah.
what is it?
PTSD.
PTSD.
So
and,
things
it's
like
just
that.
terrible.
So that's where, like, so you take away from something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then figuring out where to put it towards that is gonna benefit people. So I think, like, if you take it away from them, from that aspect of it, you might as well put it towards something that is gonna benefit them. You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna take it away from one aspect of it, put it towards that. Because I mean, look, if we look at it, like, there's a lot of money out there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
There's
100%.
a lot of money in the U.S.
100%.
It's just not being put towards the right things. Look, New York just did, I think, was it last year that they passed that new law about if you go to a city university school or a state university school, it's free based on your income. And I mean, based on the income, like, your parents need to make a lot of money for it
Right.
not to be like free. So that's education right there, and that's money's being put towards that. You know what I mean? So
And that's helping. I mean, a tremendous amount of people.
A lot of people.
A lot of people that
Right.
you know. That
so
were stuck.
that right there covers that aspect of it. Where is this money coming from? We
Right.
don't really know.
Right.
Tax money. Let's look at tax money. Where's tax money going towards? So, you know, education, like, it's money is out there. We don't necessarily, if we're gonna cut down on some things, then we have to look at, okay, how we can, you know, because we always when people look at things, they always look at the military. They always look, why are we putting so much money towards there? Which I agree. Why are we putting so much money towards that?
Right.
But if we're gonna cut back on that, then let's help the people that actually been fighting and have fought for this country.
I mean, no,
Since
yeah,
we're
I
gonna
could
give
agree
this
with that.
whole
Or at least
No, but
first.
that's the thing.
First,
like,
at least
first,
first take care
at
of
least
them,
make
you know?
sure that they're taken care
Not
of.
just say, like,
I'm not
let's-
saying that
let's
all-
wipe out student debt. Where,
Right, no.
and then forget about
I'm not
everything.
saying that, like,
which wouldn't
all-
be bad, but
I'm not saying that all the money is gonna go towards that. That they're gonna, you know,
Right,
it's
right,
gonna
right.
be, they're gonna need all that money. But let's take care of them first.
Nah, yeah, you're right.
So
They
it's
should
just-
get
yeah,
taken
at
so it's
least let
going-
them have an ability to retire,
Right.
Not just throw them
Right.
on the streets.
That's another topic,
And
by
to-
the way, fellas. Student debt. We'll get
and
into
to
that
and to help
eventually.
them. So that's where, like, that's why, like, this topic is so interesting, because when if you sit in a room like this one, in a, you know, full of people that just want to, okay, this is how much money we have, this is what we need to figure out how to help each part of it,
Mm-hmm.
and how to allocate this money. That's where it gets really tough, because then you're always going to be missing on one part of it. You know what I mean? Like, you're always gonna be, all right, we're gonna have to, this side is just gonna have to suffer. I'm sorry, and
Right.
this side is gonna, you know, benefit from it. So it's where do we put that towards? Where, you know?
No, I mean, it's a good question, but I mean, at least we should try to take a step towards trying to do something. Because I mean, it is hard to allocate the budget, but just because it's hard doesn't mean we shouldn't at least attempt to try it. But I did like what you said, where you don't know where tax money is coming from, and that brings up the point. Like, I don't know if you guys feel that way, but I would like to see, like, for example, like at the end of, let's say, like when you get your W-2s, right? Imagine also getting a statement from the government saying, hey, this is where your tax money got allocated.
Right.
Like, I think
Like
that
a
would,
breakdown.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, breakdown. I mean,
Breakdown.
they should be
Some
more
analytics
transparent.
on it.
or maybe like,
But they do
Might be
say
hard
it.
to do that.
They do tell you.
nah, but not
You
like
see the
that.
roads that are being fixed,
Nah,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then the next week is like broken down already.
Yeah.
nah, but
That's where it's going.
No,
towards.
infrastructure is crazy. I
You
mean,
you see in New York City, the subway
it.
system.
Forget it.
stop.
Terrible.
Yeah. So
That's
Yeah,
what's
they
being
make
allocated.
That's
it
what they
general
tell you.
because if you really knew,
That's what I'm
people
saying,
would
though.
start freaking out.
Right.
So
But you know where it goes towards? Those politicians that are
Bonuses,
yeah, that they're trying to get elected the next year. That's where your money's at for their election.
Pretty much, it's true.
That's where
Yeah.
the reality of it. So if you got that in the mail saying, "Hey, our politician here is the one that's getting your tax," you would want to stop. So yeah,
that is grimy. But nah, I mean, I would
scary,
like to
man.
get that though.
I would
Statement.
I think we all would, but we're not. So
Right.
reality of it is we're not. Reality of it is we have to really see like where really our money is going towards. And
I mean, a lot of politicians are trying to break this down. They're trying to figure it out. They're trying to see where we can allocate money to help better this country or the people in it,
right,
rather than just to build up a military that can't be beat.
yeah,
I mean, look at, and I said this, I think I said this last week, but Andrew Yang's trying to implement universal basic income, and everybody's first reaction is socialism or
Yeah,
communism.
something like that, right?
And it's, if you listen to him, it's really not.
right.
How much is he trying to throw? Like,
I think he's trying to tax tax companies like $1.2 trillion, or
and then like,
major corporations across the United States.
and then he's gonna like how much people get paid off that? Like,
I think he said it would be like $1,000 a month for people who want to opt in. I think you have to be 18 years or older. You have to opt in, and the goal is that when you give people extra money, that they'll put that money back into the
their
market.
economy, yeah.
So,
I mean, it makes
So
sense.
It makes sense. That'd be a nice
So-
cycle, I think.
and he has like math. That's like his whole thing, math.
Right.
And so there's like statistics. I mean, I don't have all the details, but he has, his policies are written out. You can actually
I
Google
mean,
them.
it sounds
So
like it'll
it's-
work. I
so-
don't see why it wouldn't.
So as much as I like him, he's a really smart guy. This sounds like a scam.
I don't know about a
It's-
scam
it
or
sounds-
just, I don't
it
think people
sounds
are
like-
open to that idea.
Because it sounds like a scam. It sounds like, what are those scams that people have?
Well,
Pyramid
it's not a
schemes?
guarantee.
Pyramid? Yeah.
It's not a
Right, they're like
guaranteed.
those
And I think
pyramid. It sounds like
crazy.
it's not. But that's the scary part. That's the part that it's like, he's giving you a dream that he doesn't
Well, he's-
even know. I don't think
he's
even
giving
knows
an estimation
gonna
based
work or
on
if
math.
it's gonna work or not. Because let's just say, right? Let's just dream about it. Let's say he gets elected, he comes into office, and he starts doing this. The first 1,000 people they get that, and then the rest he's like, oh damn, where's the rest of the money coming from?
Right. So like
What's-
it'll
what's-
work in the beginning.
it'll work in
Usually
the
it does
beginning,
work in the
yeah.
beginning, but then those companies.
But then after,
they
and then he's gonna be
fall out
like
of the
scratching
sky,
his head
you
and
know?
apologizing,
Who's
saying,
going to fall out of the sky?
whatever scheme or whatever
No,
if
but
if
then
it
they'll
is-
get
Think about-
taxed.
think
I mean,
about-
it's
it's-
the government regulation.
Yeah, it's just a
there's no.
tax.
It's like I get what you're saying.
Think about how
but-
much money they're saving
Yeah.
from no taxes.
Yeah.
So they're just taking
No, I
a
know
little
they
bit
did
from
save
that.
up. They did save a lot. They are saving a lot of money. Pretty
I
much.
mean, like
with,
it does sound like a
Trump's
scheme.
new,
Look, I
tax
just
law or
don't think. I think it'll work. I don't think it'll probably come out to like 1,000 a month for everybody.
I just don't think. Yeah, I just don't
But-
think it'll be like that beneficial to like people are freaking out about it, but I don't think it's like that beneficial.
It might not. I mean, even if it's a couple hundred though, that helps, and
Right.
I'm for it.
Right.
And I don't think it's a scam necessarily because again, it is like if he gets elected into office, it'll be a governmental thing.
Right.
So it's like again, if the companies don't pay, then I'm assuming there'll be like some governmental backlash from that. It won't just be like, oh, you didn't pay, all right, cool. Like no, this is a governmental policy. Yeah,
you got to pay up.
and if not, IRS at the end of the season gonna collect. So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
It sounds.
but,
I mean,
but you guys do realize that governmental policy doesn't mean shit. Right?
No, of course it doesn't.
It
but
doesn't.
I mean,
Like,
I was just gonna say
we're
that,
not gonna get into the whole impeachment, but that's bullshit. So
I mean, it is. No,
end
but
it there.
Yeah, there's a lot of look,
Just-
and I don't. Yeah, this is why.
Hey, this
these
could
are
be
like-
another topic. You know, maybe next week.
It's like tricky.
Stay tuned.
These are hard subjects, you know, especially money allocation and just I don't know.
They're sensitive
look,
subjects, but
it's subjects that we're never gonna get the truth and the reality of it, and that's why I'm saying like his mindset and his idea is great, especially for people. You know what I mean? Like for your typical, your average American, that is a great idea. I think it will be beneficial. I think it will help a lot. But the reality of it is, the world that we live in, it will not work. It just will not.
you don't think
Unfortunately, like that's the reality of it. It wouldn't work.
I'm hoping we find out.
I would hope to find out. But I
I
want
would
my
mind a
so?
little
I don't think
change.
it's. I don't think it's gonna happen. Honestly,
I would
want my man Bernie,
What
though.
are his chances? Honestly, Bernie.
I want Bernie.
I will hope
He
to
might
find
not.
out too,
I
but
mean, not
like
to sound messed up, but he might not.
you also
make
like
the whole 4 years.
I don't like to live in like a dream world. I don't like. I like to see the bullshit for what it is. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah, but you'll
gotta
never-
you gotta, as much as like you want to believe in all these politicians, you
Right.
gotta know that they're
There's an
politicians.
agenda behind every politician.
For
No,
yeah,
of
This
course.
has-
as
there
much as
always
like
is.
he's very
Carlos.
smart.
Carlos, but this has been going on for ages.
That's what I'm
is it
saying.
really gonna start changing now?
Exactly.
For whatever X
exactly.
reason?
That's exactly
Like
what I'm
again,
saying.
we're not coming at anybody. This is literally like our we're
Right,
basing our
right.
opinions, and this is what this channel is about.
Yeah. But
But,
that's
but
exactly
yeah,
what
no, I
that's
mean-
exactly what I'm saying. Because
No, I got you.
you know, like I read about him, like we sent articles and stuff. He's a great guy, and like the stuff that he has done to get to where he's at is amazing.
Right.
But it's
Right.
like,
But look, leave your comments down below on what you guys think on everything we discussed today. Whether you think it is possible, whether you think it's just a dream thing, or maybe ideas you have in terms of money and budget allocation. Until next week, all right? Stay tuned, subscribe, like, and share.